Okay, goes up. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And the senator should be joining us shortly in studio. All right, here we go.
Talk show.
Recorded
Live.
Hi, this is Dennis Dubacher. You're watching and listening to GC Community Chat with Kerry Parton on this beautiful Thursday evening in Garden City.
Good evening and welcome to Garden City Community Chat. This podcast is dedicated to promoting our community and yours, offering news you can use and much more. And now, Garden City Community Chat. Well, good evening, Garden City, and hello to our friends in Westland, Dearborn Heights, Inkster, Redford, Livonia, Plymouth, and Canton. Thanks for joining us tonight. You are listening to Garden City Community Chat, show number 298. Getting closer. It's June 30th, 2016. This is Garden City's only live podcast where we share news you can use and promote our community and yours. I'm your host, Kerry, and joining me tonight is our favorite weather guy around these parts, Mr. Doppler, Tom Iwinski. How you doing, Tom? Tom, don't do that. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Just giving you some more jokes.
Yeah. For those of you that recall, last week the internet went out, so we're hoping, knock on wood, that we don't have that problem tonight. And also joining us is former Garden City Councilman and longtime resident, Mr. Mike Jones. Mike, how are you?
Excellent. A little tired, but I'm getting better.
A little tired. Mm-hmm. Tom's going to be here shortly with the latest update to the weather for the holiday weekend. Joy and Holly, they're going to be here again with gardening tips for you. Mike has some more community announcements. And also joining us shortly will be our all-time very favorite guest, State Senator David Kniezek, because he told us, right? He told us to say that.
Yeah, that's part of his introduction.
He should be here shortly in studio, so why not sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join us for the next 60 minutes or so. Should be a good one. We're also going to be joined by Dave A.C., Tom, from the United Kingdom. He wants to give us his thoughts on the Brexit, I guess they call it, from the European Union. So we'll see what he has to say. But first, before we go any further, on behalf of Tom, Mike, and myself, we want to extend our deepest condolences to the family of State Representative Julie Plawecki, who died suddenly Saturday afternoon while in Oregon. We'll talk a little more about this with Senator Kniezek shortly, but I can tell you it's been a very sad week around here for not only our community, but for the entire state. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family during this difficult time. Mike, just a total shock. And Tom,
it was.
Still can't believe it.
I was over at the funeral home today and gave my condolences to the judge, her husband, and her 3 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
It's
just really rough.
Yeah. I'd only known her a short time since she became our state rep, but really had a lot of respect for her.
Yeah.
And it's so surprising because
she looked like the picture of health.
Yeah, she lived what appeared to be a healthy lifestyle.
Exactly.
Something like that happened to you or me, it'd be understandable.
Yeah. I mean, we've had our issues for sure, but I can't ever recall her saying she ever had any issues. So it's just been a very sad time around here. Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that with the senator when he gets here.
I guess they have a process for replacing her on the ballot.
Yeah. That's I guess they have till July 5th to come up with their resumes from the Democratic Party. So we'll see what happens. All right, moving on to a different subject. Don't forget to mark your calendars because we are going to be celebrating our 300th show on July 14th. Can you believe it, Tom? Right around the corner.
No, I cannot believe it. I remember going to the 100th show.
Yeah, right, outside. Remember that?
And now it's 300.
300.
God, you're really creeping up on my age now.
Yeah, that's going to be July 14th. The countdown has begun. Only 2 more weeks. The celebration will take place at the future site of the Arts Center, opening soon here in Garden City. And we will be doing our show live at a special time starting at 7 p.m. The doors will open at 6:30, so this will be your chance for you to get a behind-the-scenes look at what all is planned for the center. It's located right next to the Moose Lodge. The address is 29135 Ford Road, just east of Middle Belt. We'll be joined by Mr. Don Wakefield, the person responsible for bringing the center to Garden City, and he'll share his vision with us. And several other guests will be joining us as well, so please mark your calendars for July 14th at the New Arts Center. Tell your friends. And I'm putting out a special invite. Any guest that's ever been on this show, you're more than welcome to come by and have a bite to eat, say hi, and check out the New Arts Center. We'd love to see you, and we'll give you a few minutes to come on the show, that's for sure. I hope the guests are lined up out the door. We'll have some giveaways, like I said, light refreshments while they last, cake, and don't forget, you'll be able to check out and take a tour of the New Arts Center and much more. So we hope you'll be a part of the celebration July 14th at the New Arts Center on Ford Road next to the Moose, 6:30 p.m. It's going to be a blast. And don't forget, on top of all of this, we have several great community events that will be taking place throughout the year, not only here in Garden City, but our surrounding communities as well. I know Westland's celebrating their 50th year over there, and they're having a lot of events. So we will announce those events for you as soon as we know when and where. Remember, if your community has some great events coming up this year, get that information to us as soon as possible by emailing us at gcommunitychat@gmail.com, and we'll share it with you and with our listeners. Another busy year in Garden City, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right, we invite you to be a part of the conversation here tonight. We'll all be here to answer any questions you may have, and we have a couple ways that you can do that. You can call in at 1-724-444-7444, and you're going to enter the call ID 82757 followed by the pound sign. Or you can join us in our chat room by going online to TalkShoe.com and search for call ID 82757. That's going to take you right to our main show page, where you'll click on the large join in button. The window's going to open. Sign in as a guest, and that's all there is to it. Once you're in the chat room, you can type your questions and comments at the bottom of the page, and you'll find our phone number and show ID there as well. If you'd like to text your questions to us, that number is 734-788-9319. We look forward to hearing from you. Now remember, all our shows are recorded so you can catch us later at your convenience, which several of our listeners do by going to our main show page once again. Well, you'll find all 298 shows listed for you over there in order, so please check them out. The audio from tonight's show will be posted on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat about 30 minutes or so after we sign off tonight, so please look for that. We're also doing a live unedited video of tonight's show, so you can put a face with the voice, and that will be available tomorrow on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/communitychatshow. Please watch for that, and while you're there, why not subscribe to our channel? That way you'll be notified when we post future shows. Just click on the little red button right below the video. All right, let's get our favorite weather guy in here, Doppler Tom, and see about our weather for the upcoming holiday weekend. And then I think we'll get to Senator Knisik if he's here. If not, we'll get to Joey and Holly. So let's get Tom in here. Okay, let's get a check on the weather with Doppler Tom, see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend. Tom, what do you have for us? All right. Any rain in the forecast? Holy cow, is it dry out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really see a whole lot of rain in the forecast, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But
Okay.
My lawn's in
reflecting
distress.
on this week, it hasn't really been a bad week. It's been
No.
a pretty nice week. Around the weekend and on Monday was unseasonably warm and a lot of humidity as well, so that wasn't really nice. But it did cool down as we got into this week, and it hasn't been too bad the last few days with a lot of sunshine out there and those temperatures in the low 80s with that humidity gone. So I can't really complain, but like you said, we can use the rain. But we'll probably get a little bit as we get into tonight as the frontal boundary begins to move into the Great Lakes. So across Wisconsin and Illinois right now, bringing a little bit of rain. But by the time it gets here, it will be during the overnight hours, and I don't really see too much rain across our area. We'll probably get some on and off rain during the overnight hours into the early morning hours, but it doesn't look like it's going to be much for the grasses or the gardens. It's just going to be some on and off quick downpours. And then that front moves throughout the day on Friday, and the sun will begin to come out during the afternoon and evening hours. So a quick moving system with a little bit of rain, not too much rain. So if you want the rain, I don't really see that with this system. And as we get into, like I said, Friday, as the clouds begin to clear out, we're going to stay on the cooler side, probably in the upper 70s to lower 80s on Friday. And as we get into the weekend, it's going to look like an awesome weekend if you have any outdoor plans for the 4th of July weekend. A lot of sunshine and no rain, low 80s. So if you have any outdoor plans, it's going to be looking pretty good. And that extends into Monday as well on the holiday itself. Again, a lot of sunshine, little clouds, and temperatures in the low 80s. So it's going to look like it's going to be pretty nice.
Super.
And as we expand outward into next week, again, this nice weather is going to continue, and I don't really see a whole lot of rain either. Temperatures next week are probably going to be much warmer than they're going to be the next few days, and we're going to get more into a summer pattern with temperatures in the 80s and 90s again, with little to no rain. So it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing much drought relief out there, and I'll get into drought in the sense of the word in a little bit. But and like I said, doesn't really see a whole lot of rain as we get into next week. A lot of sunshine, a lot of clouds mixed in as well, and those temperatures, like I said, in the 80s and 90s, which is a little bit above average, because believe it or not, this time of year we should be in the low 80s to mid 90s, and sometimes we have been well above average this time of year, which is something that we need to really note. And like I said, the drought conditions across our country, across Michigan, has not really been a drought. I don't want to burst the bubble. Yes, it's been dry. Yes, we're below average on rainfall, but it's not really a drought per se, according to the National Drought Monitor. We are in abnormally dry conditions across the lower peninsula of Michigan, but we're not in any drought per se, in my opinion. Yes, we could use the rain. A few inches of rain will not hurt us; it will only help us. And the soil is another index we look at. It's the Palmer Severity Index, and we're about 1 to 2 inches below average for the soil. We're not really seeing an extreme amount of dry soil out there, but we definitely could use the rain, like you said, for our grasses and our gardens and our plants out there. But I think it's a little bit on the extreme side to call it a drought, in my opinion. But yes, we are dry out there. And as we expand outward across the United States, there's a lot of severe weather across the country that has been ongoing the last few days. Last week, we couldn't really talk about the weather, but that crazy flooding event that occurred across Virginia and West Virginia cost me a lot of lives out there. Over 20 lives, over 24 lives were lost during that flooding event. And there was just simply a flash flood in the sense of the word. It just rained so much, and that rain went down that terrain. If you don't know anything about that region, it's a very hilly countryside. And, as that rain fell, it went down into those cities, and it flooded them very quickly. And a lot of people didn't have time to get out, and their homes and their cars and their bodies just floated down the river, and they died. And it's very, very morbid to say, but that's simply what happened. And you always need to be tuned to the weather, because that weather can change very quickly across the country. And there's flooding right now across the country, especially Las Vegas, dealing with a lot of flooding out there. And that's kind of a city that's getting ready for the 4th of July, and they're dealing with a lot of crazy weather because the monsoon has been very active there. But unfortunately, California isn't really dealing with that rain, and they obviously need the rain. They're in a 6-year drought, and they're in exceptionally drought conditions. When, unfortunately, as we talked about on the show many times, El Nino was supposed to help them, and it did not. And we're now starting to get out of El Nino and into a different pattern, and that's going to mean a lot more years of drought, unfortunately. So it may be dry here in Michigan, but it could be much, much worse out there. We could be dealing with restrictions on a whole lot more stuff than just fireworks, in my opinion. But Yes, it's definitely that time of year where you definitely need to be safe with the fireworks in dry weather. If you want to put up some fireworks, in my opinion, you should just wet down the lawn a little bit, just to make sure that if the sparks do come off those fireworks, that it doesn't really catch anything on fire. But in my opinion, I don't really think wildfires are a big problem in this holiday weekend. But it's never left to be safe.
Yeah.
If you want to keep tuned to any of this local weather information, just go to my website, Dopplertown's Weather Deck.
All right.
Hey,
Will
Tom.
do.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Going up north for the weekend, up to Gladwin. Same kind of weather as we're going to have here, mostly dry.
Oh, yes, it's going to be picture perfect, but a little bit cooler, probably in the upper 70s.
And you'll be by the water, too, so it'll probably be perfect.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit cooler up there, but definitely nice weather.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I see where a lot of communities have already did a ban on fireworks, but not Garden City. We're on a warning, but not a ban. Dearborn Heights just did a ban. I wish they would ban it. I'm sorry.
I wish they'd outlaw it, except for public displays where they can be properly monitored.
Right. All right, well, people are going to have to be careful out there, that's for sure. It's like a tinderbox.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Senator Knisik is in the house. How you doing?
Hello.
How are you? You all right?
Here we are.
Here we are. I said we got our very favorite guest of all time that you told us to say.
That's how he wrote it down, wasn't it, Gary? Yeah. When you introduced me, you're sure to say.
Those are the instructions.
Yeah. So let's get to the senator. We're going to be joined, like I said, by Dave AC, Dave Cooper, Dave AC Online. He does several talk shows. He is in the United Kingdom. He's going to come on about 8:15, 8:30. We'll talk to him about the Brexit, and see what he thinks, and we'll get your thoughts.
Absolutely.
But first, let's talk about what's new out of Lansing. What's the latest news? What are you working on? What's up?
Things are pretty slow in Lansing right now.
Summer recess?
Yeah, we're on recess right now for the summer. So things are pretty slow. And, obviously a lot of the focus is what's going to happen in the House in August and November. There's a potential for the House to flip here in Michigan to go Democratic.
That would be nice.
Boy, fingers crossed.
Something to balance out this solid Republican
let's
majority
see.
and
Well, I think even
in executive, judicial, and legislative.
Democrats and Republicans both that I talk to think that it'd be good to have some balance.
Yeah.
Because,
definitely.
when it's all one party, you just kind of run roughshod over things. And there's nobody to say, let's pump the brakes and maybe take a second look at this. So it's a possibility. And that's where a lot of the focus, I think, for folks is right now. And legislatively, that's important because, with this being the end of a 2-year term, this is going to be a full-blown lame duck come November.
Yeah, that's true.
When we get back from the general election.
Right.
And, historically, lame duck might be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And they've scheduled, I believe it's 6 weeks worth of lame duck so far in anticipation of the House flipping. Because if the House flips, those last 2 months, the end of November and December, that'll be the last time where we have Republican-controlled House, Senate, and Governor's office. It would change January 1st.
Oh, wow.
And so it would be the last time that you could really push through.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah. So
we can only hope.
A lot of us are bracing for a really, really rough November and December.
Yeah, I think so. So what have you been working on, though? Anything, interesting?
The energy issues are still hot and heavy right now. We're
DPS.
DPS, what a shame. When we passed that bill out of the Senate, it was actually 6 bills. 4 of them were written by a gentleman named Jeff Hansen from the west side of the state, and the other 2 were written by myself. Passed bipartisan.
Jeff Hansen, a Republican?
He's a Republican, yeah.
Okay.
So we
West
passed.
side of the state.
Yeah, west side of the state.
Yeah, right. Okay, I missed that.
It's usually a safe
Right over my
assumption.
head.
Yeah, usually a safe assumption.
Yeah. I'm from Battle Creek. I can tell.
Yeah, you know.
West side of the state.
And so when we passed those bills, bipartisan bills, Senate Republicans supported it, Senate Democrats supported it, a good chunk of the House Republicans supported it, House Democrats supported it, the governor supported it,
Yeah.
the mayor of Detroit supported it. Coalition for the Future of Detroit Schools. Business leaders supported it. Teachers supported it. Detroit Public Schools supported it. But because one guy, the Speaker of the House, didn't support it, he never let it come up for a vote. So he let his own version of the bills get passed.
He has that much power, eh?
He
Holy
controls everything.
cow.
He controls everything in the House.
Wow.
Now, his version of the bills, ours took care of the debt, eliminated the debt, gave them a clean balance sheet to work from.
Mm-hmm.
His took care of some of the debt and then gave them an immediate $150 million loan to cover some other things. So whereas we took you out of debt and you're free and clear to do what you
And
want.
now they're 150 in debt
now,
already.
now they're back in debt.
Right off the bat.
$150 million. Right
Yeah, because they owe that.
Yeah. So that's
They
ridiculous.
tried to turn that down, didn't they? The board.
Yeah, well, they're trying right now. It would be difficult, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And then you've got a provision in there that allows for uncertified teachers in the classroom. It's the only school district in the state that allows for uncertified teachers.
Man, that makes no sense at all.
That's
Well,
most legislation
That's-
doesn't.
Jesus.
that's because some of the charter schools have trouble getting certified teachers for every position, and so
Well.
they're more likely to have an uncertified person in there.
Yeah.
Not many,
Yeah.
but more likely to have some.
I mean, just a number of things in there that were terrible, and it passed out of the House. Their version of the bills passed out of the House along party lines. Not even along party lines. Every Democrat said no, and a couple of Republicans. So this is terrible. It came to the Senate, and Senator Hansen and I, the two people who had written the original bills,
Yeah.
we didn't support this anymore. It passed, I want to get this right, it passed 1918 in the Senate,
Wow.
and it passed 56-55
Seriously, that close.
in the House.
Wow.
I think that, or 55-54, something like that. It was by one vote in both chambers that it passed. And so now it's being done. And I said, you know, for a lot of people, they took the vote, the issue's over and done with. For those of us that represent Detroit and the children in Detroit, this issue's not going away. And it's not going to go away anytime soon. So they think that it's over and done with. I guarantee you they're going to be back.
So now, are they going to have? Is there going to be a school board now? I mean, to deal with this, somebody to
There's going to
manage
be a new
this.
election.
Okay.
There is going to be a role of the Financial Review Commission. So the Financial Review Commission was a body that was established when Detroit went through their bankruptcy proceedings.
Yeah.
To say, you know, contracts of a certain size, expenditures of a certain value, you don't just get to spend it willy-nilly. You have to have it coming from the Financial Review Commission, and,
So-
and they will rubber stamp, say yes or no.
Yeah, they'll be over.
So they put
overseen.
this Financial Review Commission in place to also oversee the operations of the school district. So that some people said, well, we're going to give a ton of money to the district. We want to make sure there's some good oversight over what's happening as well. And so almost everybody agreed to that. That was an original provision that we had in there.
But isn't there going to have to be some reconsolidation of the schools and that? I mean, some are going to have to be closed, or something has to be done there. Like
that's all going to
mean-
be left up to the local district and the new superintendent. And the new superintendent, she's great in that
she seems really dedicated.
she came from DPS, so she gets it.
She knows.
She went to school there, K through 12.
Okay.
Came back as a teacher, went into the administration, worked her way up, and now she's the new superintendent. And so,
Wow.
you know, she gets it, and she's also well respected by the teachers. You know, in the past, when you have these emergency managers or some others, well, nobody respects them. Nobody values them. They're just there to do a hack.
I saw
job
how
and
emotional
move
she
on.
was. She was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But this gal, you know, she came up through the ranks.
Yeah.
And so people respect that, they trust that, and they know that she's looking out for everybody.
Now, what about the judge? Is he still going to be involved somehow, or?
Rhodes is still in place
Rhodes.
right now as a transition manager.
Okay.
At some point, I believe, I don't think it's late this year. I think it's early next year when they have the election to the new school board. They're going to do the switch. The school board takes over.
Okay.
The superintendent takes over, and the transition manager
Hope
is
for a
out.
smooth transition there.
We hope so.
Yeah.
But they had a smooth transition with the city of Detroit. And that's because, you know, Mayor Duggan and some others really worked well together.
Yeah.
Mayor
Yeah,
Duggan
he's
said,
been a
"Listen,
big part of it too, hasn't
yeah,
he?
he said, listen, you know, they're here. I'm going to either work with them to get them the hell out of here sooner than later, or I can fight them tooth and nail every step of the way, or they're going to be here even longer. So let's work together, agree to disagree on what we can be disagreeable on, and
Right.
Yeah, move
Let's
on.
move forward. Exactly. Yeah. What about the situation in Redford now? You had the two districts there. What's the update there?
not going to happen. Not going to happen this year.
Seriously.
So I had gotten
So I know you had a big meeting or
Well,
something.
they could consolidate that into one.
the two school districts
Yeah.
into one. Yeah. So they had a big.
It sounded like a no-brainer, really.
Well, some would disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think the kids deserve it.
Yeah.
And there was some language that I had changed in the budget that would have changed the funding formula for the two school districts if they had unified. That would have been a significant influx of money to the district.
Yeah.
And so when the budget projections came back, there was a revenue shortfall, a pretty significant revenue shortfall. And they had to go through the budget. And I think just in the education budget alone, they had to come back and cut $40 million the one day. And, you know, my change, my tweak to the funding formula was one of the casualties of those cuts. And so there wasn't the money appropriated to make it happen.
Wow.
It's not going to happen this academic year for Redford Township.
That's too bad.
And again, you still have this huge disparity between the North and the South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids are going to continue to suffer.
True. Yep.
Half of them are getting more state support, and the other half are getting less. And to combine them, it's not.
Everybody would have gotten more in that case.
Yeah, the ones that we're getting more don't want to be averaged out. And you
So-
understand that, but as population goes down, you have to look at consolidation of schools.
Sure.
Everybody has had to do that.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
agrees. Business, labor, across the state. We probably have 100 more school districts than what we need. You've got some school districts in this state with 12 kids in them. You know, you go to some of these islands, some of these islands that we have. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Mackinac Island or some others up in the UP.
Yeah.
You know, they get $15,000 per pupil. We get about $7,000, $8,000 per pupil here in Garden City,
And they make out on roads too.
and they make it out on the roads.
Big time.
Life is good in the UP.
Yeah, they're living large.
Yeah.
Well,
All winter long from September to June.
yeah. Well, look, before we move on to Dave AC, I see he's on the phone and we'll get to him in a minute. I just have to, say how sad a week it's been with the passing of Julie
It's really
Pawlecki.
sucked, yeah.
It's sucked big time. Just a total shock, I think, to everybody. You were at the funeral home tonight, and we're going to be going tomorrow night, and funeral Saturday.
I was there this afternoon too. Yeah, it was
Do we know any
pretty
more?
somber.
You hear conflicting stories. She was hiking,
Yeah,
heart
so,
attack.
so Julie's oldest daughter had just graduated from Yale and moved out to Oregon and was living out there with her boyfriend. And so one of her other daughters, Julie has 3 daughters.
Right.
They're all there today. And so one of them flew with her out to Oregon, and they were hanging out with her other daughter and the daughter's boyfriend. And they had been hanging out. I mean, you saw our Facebook. They had been hanging out all
Yeah,
week, hiking and hanging out.
Crater
going
Lake, beautiful
everywhere,
pictures.
everywhere. And they were hiking on Saturday, and they got about 3/4 up the side of this mountain that they were hiking. Can't think of the name. And Julie said, "I just don't think that I can go any farther. I think I need to sit down." And so
Now,
she's-
there is elevation change there,
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But
So she sat down. Very shortly thereafter, lost consciousness. She had a heart attack, and there was a nurse, on the scene, and they tried to revive her, and they were just unsuccessful. And so, what's been so interesting about the support after the fact is from everybody:
it's just been
Democrats,
outpouring.
Republicans, Inkster, Garden City, Dearborn Heights, Livonia, Westland. She really did make a big impact.
She really did in such a short
in
time.
a very short period of
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And I told folks I was laughing when they were playing that remembrance video that the House Democrats had done of her. In the very beginning, she's given a speech, and it's right when she's brand new. And she quite hasn't gotten down the speaking patterns and how you deliver a speech
Right.
publicly,
Right.
the whole 9 yards. And most legislators never get it. They never pick
It's
up
tough, yeah.
how to
Yeah,
speak publicly.
yeah.
And then at the very end of her tribute, which was only a year, fast forward a year, she's at that podium and she is just commanding the room, and she's speaking from the heart, and she's getting choked up talking about these water issues. And so, I mean, she really, really took to the job. And, when I talked to her husband Saturday, he was saying, she was blossoming, she was just really coming into it, and she was really hitting her stride.
And running unopposed.
Yeah, which I think is a good testament to folks realizing,
Yep.
you're working hard. We don't need to go against you.
Exactly.
So,
She really did prove herself. She really did.
I told folks, I said, remember, I didn't support her when
Yeah.
she first ran.
Yeah.
But we sat down afterwards and we shook hands, and it was her that said, "We're a team now." Everything else over and done with. We're a team now. And so, I legally, I don't know what happens to the bills that she's had introduced or passed
Yeah.
in the House. There is a bill in the Senate that she had passed out of the House.
Okay.
And so I want to try and see if we can get that bill passed into law.
Right.
Because she would have never had a
I know we used to kid her about the pigeon bill.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She was so proud of that.
She loved that one.
She was awesome. I'm telling you, she's really going to be missed.
Yeah. For lack of a better word, man, it just sucks.
It does. It really does.
It just sucks. 54 years old, the nicest lady on the planet. Of all the scumbags that there are in politics, you take the angel.
I know it. I know
God
it.
damn.
And look like the picture of health, really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who'd have ever guessed,
Nobody.
Oh,
Just last month, she had cut the ribbon on a new women's heart health clinic
oh,
at
God.
Henry Ford Health because she believes so strongly in it.
Wow.
And she got the checkups, everything. There's just nothing there.
Just a
So,
shame.
Yeah.
Very, very
It
big,
is.
big loss.
It is. Bring in your British guy. Let's talk about the Brits.
Yeah, let's move on. Dave, how you doing? Dave AC.
I'm here.
How is it going in England? In the UK?
Well, it's not very warm for certain, but other than that, not too bad. I was trying to find the name of the mountain. Was it Mount Scott? That seems to be near Crater Lake.
Was it Mount Scott? Do you know? Does that sound familiar, Dave?
I'm not sure. I could find it if I look it
Oh,
up.
okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, Senator Kinesic, our state senator, is here as well. So we kind of want. I know you don't want to stay on too long. You have other things you got to do, and we appreciate you joining us.
It is 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you probably want to get to bed, right?
Doesn't stop me, Kerry. You know that.
Oh, I know.
Us,
Couple old retired guys.
Yeah, full of energy.
Yeah. But hey, I wanted to get your take on the Brexit. What's the feeling over there? And I see the one that led that now is not even interested in running for prime minister now. Is that correct?
Who, Farage?
Yeah, the mayor, the ex-mayor.
Oh, Boris.
No, we're talking about Boris Johnson, who
Yes.
was the mayor of London, who's
Yes.
now back in Parliament.
That hair,
Well,
man.
That hair. Yeah.
let me start by saying, stop me when I've bored you.
Oh no, never. Go ahead.
There are two types of people: those that think politics are interesting, and those that think they're not interesting. And I guess with the senator on board, I'm on safe ground with that. And very sad to hear that news you were mentioning before I came on. We had, and the shame on me, I can't find the name of it. We had a British politician only just recently
Joe Cox.
murdered by
Right.
an irate member of the public.
Yeah, that
who,
was terrible.
shocking and very, very bright. Apparently to be a rising star, and cut down maybe because she was here in the UK. One of the things that we have with our political system is that the MPs, like your senators or whatever, governors, have what they call surgeries, monthly or weekly surgeries, and that's where any member of their own constituency, the people they represent, can actually come and see them. And there's no policeman standing next to them with a gun. There's no, it's done on a very, there's no barrier between the public and their member of parliament. And it's a very hard won but richly and enjoyed thing. So that, I mean, I went to see mine a while back, and I said, first thing I said to him, I said, I didn't vote for you, you know. And he said, well, that doesn't matter. I'm in office. I'm here to represent you. Just because you didn't vote for me doesn't mean I won't listen to what your concern is and do my utmost in my power, if I feel it's justified, to try and right your wrong. And indeed, that's indeed what they did. So, yeah, so it's going...
So government's supposed to work? It doesn't seem to work that way over here very often.
Well, again, one of the things that's happened with this Brexit is it's caused a seismic jolt. There's no doubt about it here. But as the old Chinese proverb says, so more of a curse than a proverb. May you live in interesting times. And one thing that's happened is, and then especially the younger voters in the UK are slightly traumatised by what to them appears to be a leap into the unknown. So for your listeners, just let me give a little bit of background. And again, Kerry, old so-and-so here, stop me when you've heard enough. plead with me when you've heard enough.
Okay. Just a brief background then, I guess.
I will indeed. But basically, the UK joined the European Common Market. We had a referendum to join that, and that was in the 1970s, just over 40 years ago. And since I, like yourself, am old enough, I actually voted for that. And what we were voting for was a common exchange of goods, a common market in trade. But ideologically, with what are now, while we still remain 28 countries, it's not all of Europe, Switzerland and some of the outer Scandinavian countries have a looser connection with the EU. They've wanted ever closer ties, a federal Europe, if you like. Now, one of the things that upsets some of the UK people is we actually like your President Obama here in the UK. He slightly upset us when he came to England.
Go ahead.
I think you might have to mute that. Okay.
Yeah.
When he came to the UK, he said he supported the UK staying in the common market. But a lot of us thought, hang on a minute, supposing all of the Americas, Mexico, Peru, Chile, Canada, and the United States were all in a group, I can't see people in America, if Canadians said, you've got to throw away your guns, people in Canada won't like America having guns. No way would America let another country decide their law. And what has happened here in the UK, which has built up this backlog of pressure, has been that over 30 to 40% of the laws that keep our countries together are not made by the elected members of parliament that we have. They are made in Brussels. So there's concern. Now, unfortunately, when you vote for something, we had a referendum which was either to stay in the common market or leave. I made my decision on my criteria, but unfortunately, those people that have been pent up with rather less social feelings, maybe not necessarily believing that all people are equal and perhaps thinking that foreigners are coming in taking their jobs. Maybe as some people in America feel about Hispanics or Mexicans. And again, here in this country, there's a very clear distinction. If people have come into this country legally and are contributing to the society, they are welcomed and hopefully can go about their life freely without encumberment. But unfortunately, there are also people that either come here on a visa and stay after they are supposed to leave and so on. And unfortunately, they have become a target of closer minds that don't like it. So what has happened is this vote has been the worst possible outcome in one sense, because just over 50% have voted one way and just under 50% have voted the other way. So we have had a very clear-cut mandate. Yeah, a little bit like in America. It seems here again in Europe that the Republicans and the Democrats are much further apart, with neither of them in the centre ground. Where here in the UK we've always been governed since the war years mainly by centre ground politics. In other words, whichever of the two parties has been in the centre ground has won power. So basically, I did indeed vote to leave Europe, but only because we've been in it 40 years.
Wow.
Not all the countries are faring well. In Greece, 40% youth unemployment. By that's people under 25. 40% of them can't get employment. They owe the rest of Europe billions and billions of euros. They're in debt for at least the next 60 years to the rest of Europe. Spain is not faring very well. In France, they've been having riots, and
Germany.
Germany, not so much in Germany, but in France, the far right are trying to take power. Quite a few of these countries, Spain and Italy and so on, have not been able to maintain a stable government for more than 6 or 8 months. They've never been able to have a controlling government. They've been coalitions and so on. So here, to us in the UK, being in Europe is not being totally all good. So we feel as though it's not the panacea it was made out to be. And unfortunately, because some of us, 17 million of us in fact, 70%, 72% of the electorate voted in this referendum. So it's a very big mandate.
That's
unfortunately,
huge.
fairly evenly split. Although Scotland, the people in Scotland voted in a larger majority to stay.
What's going to happen with Scotland? Are they going to vote to get out of the United Kingdom because of this and stay in the United Kingdom?
Well, that has opened up a whole kind of worms, because they had a referendum to leave the UK, which was a once-in-a-lifetime referendum. The Scottish people decided to stay in. Now, the Scottish Parliament now think that there is material change to that, because they're being forced to leave the EU when the majority of Scottish people vote to stay in.
Right.
Okay.
However, that's a twofold situation. The thing is that there are countries in Europe like Spain and France and so on that have reasons not to let Scotland into the EU, because they have the Basque separatists in France, they have the Catalonians that want to separate from their own main country. So what they are worried about is if they let Wales, should it leave the UK, then want to enter EU, they're afraid that the Basques and the other not minority, but the regional areas in France and Spain and so on will say, well, we can do that. We can leave France. We can leave Spain.
Dave?
So they yes.
Senator Knisik just had a question. He wanted to make a comment.
What do you make of the number of people who have said after the vote that they voted leave, didn't really think their vote was going to count, and now they have buyer's remorse? I mean, what do you say about the number of people who are saying, oh gosh, I'm seeing what the impact is now, and I'm wishing that I would have done something different?
And I've heard that they can appeal this vote too, right? Is that possible?
Well, to answer them in order, first of all, I think there are some people that do feel like that. Not a majority, but maybe, remember, the difference between the leave and stay is only 4%. 52% to 48 was the vote. But the thing is that, and this is how I think they have fallen into that possible trap. In a normal parliamentary vote, when you're voting for your MP, you're in an area of, say, 100,000 voters. So let's say you live in an area, I'll use Democratic and Republican. Let's say I live in an area where there are 100,000 voters, and I know that 80,000 of the Republicans get the vote in my thing. But I vote, Democratic. A lot of people won't bother to vote. They think, doesn't matter, my vote won't count, and they're going to do it.
Yeah.
In this particular case, it wasn't the fact that, all right, more than 50% in your area vote, so all the congressional votes for that area go to one side or the other. What happened in this particular vote is every single vote counted. So you could be the only person in your locale that voted one way, but that wouldn't be overridden by everybody else. It would be counted. And I think a lot of people voted thinking, it was a protest vote, and they hadn't really thought it through.
Yeah.
So
The other two things that are really interesting is, and again, this is just what we're seeing on this side of the pond and what gets reported over here, right?
Right.
So I know that central to some of the arguments that the Leave campaign was making was, we're sending 350 million pounds a week to the European Union. That money would be better spent here in Great Britain and put towards the National Health Service. And then the day after the vote, Nigel was on, I think, like Good Morning Britain or something like that, saying that, well, that's just a goal, And so it kind of felt like the old bait and switch. We're going to tell you this is what the money's going to go towards. We got you to vote the way we wanted you to vote, and now we're going to kind of walk it back a little bit.
Mm.
Right, well, I can answer that, but again, Kerry must stop me if I go on too long. First of all, the whole thing was handled very badly. Certainly David Cameron, our Prime Minister, only actually agreed to this referendum because there was some internal bickerings within the Conservative Party.
And now sadly he's resigned.
There's an old adage, if anybody here knows about law, especially if you're a trial lawyer, you never ask a question unless you already know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
We have that same adage here.
Right, okay. So he felt as though he had a feel of the nation, and he thought with his own popularity that would carry it. Unfortunately, a few things happened. One, they didn't allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote. Well, I know in America this might be different. Here in the UK, you can vote from 18. But, for instance, when there's an important vote, and I think the Scots did it with their referendum, you allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote because this is a constitutional change. It's something that will affect them for 10, 20, 30 years into the future. Supposedly a once-in-a-lifetime vote. They should have allowed them. That would have probably made a completely different decision.
Yeah.
Secondly, both sides knew that 35% of the country would vote one way, 35% would vote the other way. All they were concerned about were the 20 to 25% undecided.
Always, yeah.
So they resorted to hyperbole. They started to say, first of all, the in-vote was saying things like, Europe has saved us from a third world war. We're all in it together, so there's no third world war. They said other things. Yeah. And indeed, Nigel Farage, who wasn't leading, but unfortunately, if you take one attitude in a vote, you don't know which other bedfellows are going to join in with you.
That's true.
But for their own different specific reasons. So it was mainly Michael Gove and Boris Johnson who were leading the Leave campaign, and the one that was already a cynic of Europe was also on the same side, but not necessarily in the same camp. But you're right, that was completely misleading, although it was clarified. Remember, we don't do what you do in America, where you have like 14 months leading up to the presidential election.
God.
We did have about 5 weeks of debate, and quite a few debates on TV, broadcast debates, where they had audiences that were supposed to be a balance of the electorate in general, so 50% and so on. Anyway, the money is correct. The 350 million euros is correct, but not all of that money goes to Europe because some of it comes back. But
so is the pound recovered a little bit now?
Well, the thing is, it's about 120 million of that come back. But in actual fact, it doesn't come back. It never leaves. It's sort of docked before it goes.
Okay.
But that, remember, is a week, not a year.
Right.
So it's a substantial amount of. So there's an awful lot's gone on. But what has happened is, first of all, they say that the UK or England is now a minor league country, but apparently it knocked 1.5 trillion off all the business markets around the world. However, I noticed that today the Dow Jones has recovered. The Dow Jones is much higher than it was at the beginning of the year. The Dow Jones is now nearly
That's
up
good.
to 18,000. It's 17,929. It dropped to 17,034 or something. So
Yeah.
it gained 900 points in the last couple of
Yeah,
days.
that's good.
Even some of your commentators on the financial market said it was silly. It was basically. I mean, I think the people in the markets are absolutely delighted to rub in their hands. They don't make money when the market's stable.
I mean, all the experts over here always tell us, don't panic, it's okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them do, though.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sure people lost money, but I mean, the
Oh,
point is
absolutely.
that
I think the
if
first
you
day, the
were-
average 401k, they said lost $3,100 or something.
Yeah,
So-
but if you were smart and you sold at the beginning of the fall, wait till it got to the bottom and then bought them back, you'd buy all your stock back for about 500 points less. I mean,
How nice if you had thought of that. How nice.
I mean, if they didn't know that, in other words, all the people in
Buy low,
must have
sell
made-
high. Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
most
doesn't-
must have made
that hardly ever
millions,
happens.
Yeah.
Millions.
David, Senator Kanizik has to leave here at 9:00, and he just
Okay.
wanted to make some final comments.
No, I just think it's really cool. Obviously, if you can't tell from my comments, I think we disagree with one another. But I think it's really cool just to have the conversation with somebody
absolutely.
who's over there living it and breathing it, and can have a respectful debate.
Sorry,
I think
to
that's
stop.
great.
But one final thought is that the trouble is the race bandwagon has jumped on it, and there are not 17 million racists in the UK.
Right.
And it's just the fact that when there are two choices in a ballot, you don't know the reasons behind
Right.
why you tick one and somebody else ticks the other, and you don't know what they bring to the table. But it is seismic change. I believe Europe is not the panacea that it was made out to be, and I hope if people will bear with the UK and the special relationship with America is steadfast, I hope that we'll all come out of it very well.
I like how an MP in Great Britain is like a member of the House of Representatives here. So in the UK, an MP represents between 82,000 and 90,000 people, and as like a little measly state senator, I have 270,000. And our members of Congress have 600,000.
Isn't it?
So, I
crazy?
mean, it's actually better for them over there because you have much more closer representation
Yeah,
to
that is
the constituent.
better, yeah.
He talked about Joe Cox
More
in
of
the
a
beginning, the
handline.
MP who was killed. I mean, yeah,
That was a
you have
shame.
such a more hands-on sort of personal
Yeah.
relationship with your constituents. It's really kind of nice.
Yeah, and again, the trouble with the European MPs, as I say, they're now making 30% of our laws, but they get paid by UK money. They're more than the Prime Minister. They get something like $300,000.
Oh, sign me up for that job.
Holy cow.
Plus,
I'm coming to see you.
Plus expenses, which is
Senator
about
Kanisik's coming
$50,000.
across the pond.
Yes, pick me up.
and they get the pension, which I don't think they make a contribution to.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my
they're-
gosh.
They're worth about $400,000 a year. It's a great
Holy
train over there.
cow.
We're moving, Carrie.
We're in the wrong business.
Let's go.
Wrong business.
We're moving. Nice talking to you, brother. Very cool.
Okay,
Well,
cheers.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now while you close out.
All right. Well, thank you. I mean, we really appreciate you coming on, giving your thoughts on that. And I just thought it would be interesting, to have you guys on and talk about it and give us a little insight on that. Really appreciate it, Dave.
Only one person's perspective, but there you go.
Well, and we highly respect your perspective. After all, you're my mentor. I said that in the article, right?
Yes, Grasshopper.
Thursday, 12 o'clock.
All right, moving on. It's time for Joy and Holly. We'll get their gardening tips of the week. And Dave, I know it's late there. If you have to leave, I understand. Okay.
I will be dropping off. All the best for your 300th episode, by the way.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You take care now.
I was in the hospital.
Bye, Senator. Cheers.
All right. All right. Here's Joy and Holly.
This is Gardening in 2 Minutes, As gardeners, you may think that you've got more weeds than what you should have, and there's a couple of reasons why you might have more weeds in your garden than what you think you should have.
One reason you might have a lot, as anybody in general, is because weed seeds can lay dormant for 7 years.
Some weed seeds can even lay dormant for 70 years.
Right. So one thing you might want to think about is how you're gardening. If you are tilling your land, which is not right or wrong, but if you're tilling your land, you might be kicking those weed seeds up and bringing them back to life.
Another reason why you may have an excessive amount of weeds that you think you shouldn't is tilling again. Many weed roots propagate from very small fragments. So if you go in there and till a garden plot up, you're disrupting and cutting up all these roots and creating multiple small fragments of roots and scattering them underneath the soil. Well, each one of those fragmentations will create another weed, another plant. So you're increasing the population by cutting those roots up. One way you can get away from this is it is a lot of work, but it is worth it to go through with a spade or a shovel or a garden fork and dig the soil up and remove all of those roots and the top growth. Just don't rip the top off and say you've weeded. Those roots will generate more and more growth and more weeds.
You can also mulch around your plants or around your beds. This will help a lot of the weeds that maybe aren't strong enough to poke through. This will help keep them down.
So just some reasons why you may have an abundance of weeds and you think you've done a good job weeding. For more information on weeding and weed control in your garden, our weekly video productions, as well as our free downloadable digital quarterly magazines, you can find all that information at
thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.
A gardener for all gardeners. For Gardening in 2 Minutes, I'm Joy Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. I just wanted to mention that the Observer, page 6, the business section of Thursday's paper, runs a story this week. Garden City Mini Golf, they're celebrating their 50th anniversary there in business. And the Observer was gracious enough to give the Garden City Business Alliance the opportunity to showcase a few of these businesses that are members of the GCBA. And
that's great.
I thought that was really cool. So look for more stories from GCBA members coming your way soon.
So I have to read the Observer past page 2 now?
Yes, you do.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's cue up Mike's music. I know he's been waiting for this all night, and we'll get to some of these community events.
Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. Yes, that'll be the day.
Okay, it's time for some community announcements. So let's get Mike in here.
You know
Mike,
it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die.
All right. Hey, I don't even think we need music, man. We'll just have you sing your way in.
Yeah, well, trust me, Buddy Holly does a much better job than I do.
That sounded pretty good, though, I gotta admit. All right, it's all yours.
Okay, we have a number of things, some old and some new tonight, Gary.
All right.
The Garden Walk 22nd Annual is going to take place on Saturday, July 16th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tickets are available at Barson's Greenhouse and Lucky Dog Daycare.
Yeah, that's one of their main events for the garden club, and it's great. It really is.
It really highlights some of the nicer gardens and homes that are prepared around town. I mean, we are called Garden City. It's nice to know that some people take that really serious.
Yep, they put the garden back in Garden City.
Yeah.
All right.
Our biggest events coming up, besides, of course, the 300th anniversary show,
right? Exactly.
Are the Garden City Business Alliance and DDA Scavenger Hunt.
Yep.
July 8th to 22nd. Tickets are now available, or information kits are now available at the DDA office.
Yeah, this is totally free event.
Yep. And if you are successful in following these clues and getting to these various businesses, you could be in line for some prizes. The first prize is $500.
Yep.
And there's going to be another $500 in secondary prizes awarded.
Exactly. And packets are now available at the DDA, also online at the GCBA website.
Oh, okay.
You can print them off there and unscramble the business names and go at it. July 8th it actually starts.
Right.
2 weeks.
And when that all wraps up, the next day...
Oh, this is going to be a great event.
Yeah, or not the next day.
July 28th.
July 28th, Music in the Park.
And actually, my wife Cheryl is chairing this.
Yeah, this is going to be a super event.
Yep.
They will. They're having music in the park, located east of Merriman and north of Cherry Hill. Music begins at 6 o'clock in the large pavilion with Bonnie and the Working Girls. That's a musical group, by the way, not a profession. There will be food available for purchase, an artesian market, and much more. Feel free to bring lawn chairs, blankets, and coolers and sit back and enjoy. And the 2016 scavenger hunt winners will also be drawn at this event during the first intermission. You must be present to win.
Yeah, and let me just mention, there's going to, I don't know, does it say there's going to be an ice cream truck there also?
It doesn't, but that's nice.
And we just found out today that Gordon Chevrolet is going to sponsor Bonnie and the Working Girls, the band, for us. So
fantastic.
A big shout out to Gordon Chevrolet, and they're going to have all kinds of stuff there, a banner and a truck and everything else.
Yeah, they're definitely one of the strongest members of our business alliance.
Yes.
They really got taken to heart promoting Garden City.
Yes, they do.
And another big event coming up, the 16th Annual Autos for Autism Car Show.
Yeah.
Monday, July 11th from 5 to 9 p.m. This benefits the Berger School for Students with Autism. It's going to be new location this year, as we've said before. It'll be at the Garden City Middle School, 1851 Radcliffe.
Yeah, this year only.
Yeah. If you drove by the high school parking lot, you see that they're in the process of redoing that, and so that wasn't available to us. Mm-hmm. There'll be live music by Bonnie and the Working Girls. How about that?
They are very popular, and they have a great following.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
And the Crampton Brothers, delicious Baby Drew's barbecue, fabulous raffle prizes, clowns, kids' activities, dozens of trophies, dash plaques to the first 200 vehicle entrants. And I will be there as part of the Kiwanis contribution to help with the registration at 6 o'clock. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a great event. It's really grown.
Yeah, it's huge.
Huge.
Okay, we got some new ones here. The Wayne County Parks Division has Make It at the Mill Kites. Wayne County Parks and Nankin Mills Interpretive Center, Westland. It's going to be on Saturday, July 9th from 1 to 2:30. Wayne County Parks naturalists will describe how flight works in birds and insects, and we will make our kites, and then let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go. Oh, Mary Poppins. Yeah. Sorry about that. Heinz Park will provide the open space and hopefully enough wind for liftoff.
Yeah.
A local kite club will be on hand to demonstrate some unusual kites for us. This is the Nankin Mills Interpretive Center, 33175 Ann Arbor Trail in Westland. Ages 6 and older, $6 a child, $2 for an adult. Pre-registration required. Phone number 734-261-1990. Check us out on Facebook at Nankin Mills Interpretive Center. Also from the Wayne County Parks Division, Copper Rush in Michigan. The story of the first mineral boom in the United States.
That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah. Saturday, July 16th at the Nankin Mills Interpretive Center again from 1 o'clock to 2:30. We're familiar with the gold rush, but the first metal rush in the country was the copper rush, and it took place right here in Michigan. We had the deepest mines and the biggest machines to bring up the ore.
Wow.
We will look at the history of copper in Michigan from its ancient formation to present mining. This will be presented by Wayne County Parks naturalist. Ages 12 and older, $3 per person. Pre-registration required. Same phone number as before. Check us out. Facebook, yeah.
Yada, yada, yada.
Wayne County Parks Division again. Henry Ford Village Industry in southeastern Michigan on Saturday, July 23rd. You notice how they're kind of booking up our Saturdays in July?
Yeah, I see that.
From 1 to 2:30. Henry Ford developed 20 different water-powered sites along rivers in southeastern Michigan as part of his Village Industry Project. Nankin Mills has the first site purchased in 1918 for this decentralization of industry concept.
Wow.
Come learn about this fascinating piece of Ford history. A guide visit to the Ford exhibits included, again presented by a Wayne County Parks naturalist. And you know where it's at, 33175 Ann Arbor Trail. Ages 12 and over, $3 a person. Pre-registration required. Yada, yada, yada. 734-261-1990.
A lot of stuff going over there. It sounds like our library.
Yeah. which is coming up in just a moment.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah. Join the Garden City Kiwanis for our trip to the Greektown Casino and Belle Isle Gardens and Aquarium. Saturday, August 27th, you pay $30 and you receive $20 in slot play. All proceeds will help the Kiwanis help local kids. Come and be part of the fun for a wonderful cause. Here's how to join in the fun. Call Party Animal Travel at 734-525-9777 or contact your local Kiwanian member and tell them you want to sign up. The cost is $30 and you can pay by cash, check, or credit card. The bus will load at the Kmart parking lot at 9 o'clock. And Party Animal will be having raffles on the way to the casino on the way back. You can win a trip from Party Animal Travel, which would be a nice raffle prize.
Yeah, our good friend Jerry Thorne, owner of Party Animal Travel.
Yeah.
Does a great job.
And Jerry's another great participant who supports Garden City.
Yes.
In many ways whenever he gets a chance.
Yeah.
Every player will receive $20 in slot play at the casino, so you paid $30 and you're getting $20
Can't
back.
beat that.
$20 to play on the slots.
And they give you a ride right to the door.
Yep. Take time to explore the new Detroit and the new restaurants in Greektown. Our bus will depart the casino at 3 p.m. and make a tour of Belle Isle to see the remodeled aquarium and conservatory. Please help us help the kids. Call 734-525-9777 and make your reservation now. You must be at least 21 years of age to participate.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yep. We've got our usual announcements from the library. They've got things going.
We won't go through all of them. There's a ton.
Yeah, they got things going on
Highlight
on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Harry Potter thing on Saturday.
You name it.
Plus all kinds of adult programs. The library, of course, is located at 31735 Maplewood. Phone number is 734-793-1830.
Website they can go on, find out a lot of this.
www.gardencitylib.org. So if you want details on any of their programs, the Maker Mondays, the Family Performers, the Adventure Club, the Teen Book Club, the Super Smash Brothers Tournament, the Harry Potter Party.
Last night they just had the adult coloring book, stressless, whatever they call that. I guess a lot of people are getting involved in that.
Yep. Another familiar announcement to us. Brenda's Butterfly Habitat is now open. They opened the first Thursday in June, and they will be open through the first Friday in September, which is 9/2, September 2nd. Closed on July 4th. Hours of operation are Wednesdays through Sundays from 10 to 4. Closed Monday and Tuesday. There is no admission charge. Donations are graciously accepted and help defray the cost of operation. Brenda's Butterfly Habitat is filled with butterflies, host, and nectar plants that are native to the area. You can see the complete life cycle of these winged beauties in all stages of their metamorphosis.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
That's a multi-syllable word. Yeah. They're, of course, located on the same grounds with Barson's Greenhouse, and you can get information by going to the website www.butterfliesinthegarden.com.
Yep.
And another familiar one, the Outdoor Flea and Food Market takes place on the second and third Saturday of the month at the Straight Farmhouse, Garden City Historical Museum on Merriman Road, north of Ford Road, on the west side of Merriman. It's from June through September, second and third Saturday each month, 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock. They have something for everyone: toys, antiques, collectibles, jewelry, household items, man cave signs, and much, much more.
I like that man cave signs.
Yeah. My man cave is a small bedroom where I used to grade papers when I was a teacher.
Right, there you go.
Yeah. Questions or directions, please contact the Straight Farmhouse at 734-838-0650. Those are always weather permitting, but Tom tells us we don't have any rain coming, so that should be good. Vendors are wanted. Setup begins at 8 a.m., $15 for a 10-by-10 space. No advance reservations are necessary, payable the day of the market. All proceeds go to the museum.
Yep.
The only restrictions are no weapons, no offensive pictures, or literature, no food or beverage sales.
Mm-hmm.
For information, please call Diane at 734-765-7999. That's it, Gary.
All right. That's a lot of stuff going on.
It is.
All right. We also want to remind all residents that the next regular city council meeting is going to be held on Monday, July 11th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. That's located at 6000 Middle Belt Road. They urge all residents to attend. And I can tell you the last council meeting was 25 minutes long. That's how fast it was. Yeah. And that wasn't a record. I think Chief Murray said the record was 17 or 18 minutes. Yeah. For the shortest one.
Well, they're in a time period where they've just finished the budget.
Yep.
And they get down to business quickly. There's not a lot of controversy, which I particularly appreciate.
Which has been very, very nice.
Yeah. We don't have people bad-mouthing but not offering anything to
any
improve.
Solutions, right?
I don't mind somebody disagreeing with me, but I'd like to think that they would at least have a good reason or an alternative.
Right.
And we haven't had to deal with that lately.
No,
so
it's really been a pleasure. It really has.
Yep.
All right, I just want to mention that if you'd like to be a guest on our show, like Senator Knisik, then all you have to do is send us an email at gcommunitychat@gmail.com, and we will shoot you some available dates, and that's all there is to it. Maybe you own a business or belong to an organization. You'd like to share your information with us and the surrounding communities. If so, this is the forum for you. Once again, email us at gcommunitychat@gmail.com or give us a call at 734-788-9319. We look forward to hearing from you.
There is some information in the paper also about the process for replacing Julie Plawicki on the ballot in August.
Right.
So people should look at that. The Democrats precinct delegates will be getting together, and they will make a nominee suggestion to replace her name on the ballot. Those people in Garden City or other communities that she represents that have received an absentee ballot already in the mail before she passed, those ballots will not be counted. The new ones will be sent to you as soon as they
pick a candidate.
And
they're taking resumes, and I believe they have to be in by July 5th, I think I read. I read that today, so somewhere around there. Sad situation.
Yes, it is.
All right, our show has reached several communities in the area, so if you can get us some information about your business or organization, we'll be more than happy to mention it on air for you. All right, are you a business owner, resident, or community advocate interested in serving the business community? If so, the Garden City Business Alliance is looking for you. Becoming a member is very easy. Just visit their website at gcbiz48135.org. Fill out the contact page or give them a call at 734-788-9319. Also visit their Facebook page at facebook.com/Garden City Business Alliance. So why not consider joining the GCBA and be a part of moving the business community forward? Or better yet, you can come to their next membership meeting, which is Friday, July the 8th, 9 a.m. at the Straight Farmhouse in the Grand Parlor, 6221 Merriman Road, just north of Ford Road. We also want to thank Mark Hammer and all the folks over there for hosting our morning meetings for us. We really appreciate that. We hope you'll be able to attend. We would love to meet you and hope that you'll become a member of the GCBA. Okay, before we sign off tonight, please jot these numbers down. If you'd like to become a volunteer for the DDA events, please call Kim or Teresa at 734-261-2830. The DDA office is located at 29213 Ford Road. And once again, if you'd like to become a member of the GCBA or volunteer for any of their upcoming events, please call 734-788-9319. Both the GCBA and DDA are working hard on events and dates right now, and we're always looking for volunteers, so please contact them today. Well, I think we're ready to call this a podcast.
Podcast.
I want to thank my co-hosts, Tom and Mike. Great job as always. Also, Senator Knisik. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And thanks to Joey and Holly all the way from Wisconsin for your gardening segments. And everyone who joined us in the chat room. We had quite a few in there tonight. We appreciate that.
Even our guests from across the sea.
Oh, absolutely. Got to thank Dave AC, Dave Cooper, better known as Dave AC online. He is a great guy, and he's been with us every step of the way for 6 years here on TalkShoe, so we really appreciate him. And also those that's going to be listening and downloading the show later, and for those that will be watching the show on our YouTube channel, we really appreciate your support as well. Remember, the audio from tonight's show will be made available on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat shortly after we sign off tonight, and also on our main show page at TalkShoe.com, call ID 82757, and look for the video of tonight's show tomorrow on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CommunityChatShow. And if you like the show, don't forget to subscribe. Just click on that little red subscribe button right below the video, and that's all there is to it. All right, remember, the success of a community depends on the community, so please support your local businesses. And if you see something, say something. Look out for one another out there. And please be safe this holiday weekend. If you're doing fireworks, watch the kids, the pets, your neighbor's house. Be considerate of your neighbors. Also, for all your weather information, be sure to head on over to DrTomsWeather.com. He's got a great website over there. So on behalf of Tom, Mike, Holly, Joey, this is Carrie saying take care. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. We'll see you all next week, July 7th. Can you believe it? Already July 1st tomorrow? Wow. July 7th right here on TalkShoe.com, show ID 82757. Take care and good night.
Hang loose.
Call recording has been completed.
All right. That's it, folks. We made it tonight. Knock on wood. Thank you all for joining us. Take care. See you all next week. Thank you. Good night.